We saw the local pro day today. I'll ask you first, Grant, what stood out to you today at the local pro day, or who stood out to you today?
Well, I think we were all looking to see what the Stanford wide receiver was going to do, because he's supposed to go in round 2 or round 3, somewhere around there. And the fact that he showed up at the pro day was interesting. Like, is he trying to really suck up to? No, I didn't mean like that, but like, is he really trying to create a good impression, or he just showed up and watched, which is what Devontae Adams did about 10 years ago when the Niners invited him. I mean, it's a courtesy. He got to talk to John Lynch, but he was the star of the day. You pointed out Nick Nash to me. He was like actually on the field running routes. And then he talked to the media afterward. He seemed like a normal, good guy. So maybe him. And then Teddy, what's his name?
Buchanan.
Teddy Buchanan. He seemed very polished, like a guy who knows he's going to get drafted.
Yeah, I thought, he stood out to me. I mean, we talked to him afterwards. I didn't notice him on the field in the drills. I was just, there's so many guys running around. So did he work out in the drills, or did he just?
I don't remember. The guy that we were talking about was 81.
Yeah. Now, so yeah, there's always, that's the great thing about
81.
these things is there's like, there's 80 guys there, and it's like whatever number of guys. And there's always some guy that you never heard of that is like, whoa, look at that guy. The guy you're talking about is a guy named Giles Jackson, which is a great name. Giles Jackson, Giles Jackson, 5'9", 187-pound wide receiver from University of Washington, who's
like a running back
because he's from Oakley. So he's an Oakley native. Yeah, he ran hard routes and really sold them, and was really precise and powerful, explosive. He's small, as 5'9", 185, 187. But he looked like an explosive slot receiver who's got some stop and start, ability to him. I'd love to know what his 40 time is.
Yeah, he did. He looked like he was built like a running back. Remember last year, Tariq Owens participated in this local pro day and made the practice squad. So chances are there's going to be one guy from this day who won't be drafted, but will create an impression, make an impression on the 49ers, and maybe land on the practice squad at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like who were the best players here, somebody asked me on one of my texts, some of the people who, some of my Krug Show fans who have gotten a hold of my cell phone and text me directly, asked me on the drive home, hey, who's the best player there, or who's going to be the highest drafted player? And I think Grant probably hit it. It's probably Alec Amon-Ra, right? It's probably the Stanford receiver, because he's 6'2", he's 210 pounds, he runs a good 40. And they're saying second round. He definitely talked to Lynch for a long period of time. I mean, Lynch was standing there, and then when Lynch walked away, I believe Leonard Hankerson, who is the wide receiver coach, was right there. I mean, if you said to me, give me the player that you got the most, like, the Niners love this player and want him vibes, it's definitely the Stanford receiver, right? I mean, he talked to Lynch, he talked to Hankerson, he didn't participate in the drills, but he showed up, he seemed real interested. When, if you're talking to Lynch, it's one thing, but if you're having, lengthy discussions with Hankerson, that makes me think that the Niners have done maybe more work on Alec Amon-Ra than we realize.
It almost looked like they were recruiting him.
Right.
Kind of funny. But look, he maybe you alerted me to this. I don't really know that much about him. I'm learning now. He really had a massive knee injury earlier in his college career. He has since bounced back, ran a 4.44. So clearly he's still athletic, but ACL, MCL, the thing that's most concerning to me is when any player tears their meniscus. Because sure, at 22, you might feel great, but I feel like from what I understand about the injury, there's eventually going to be bone-on-bone contact, and that's going to lead to pain and discomfort when you're a little bit older. So I wonder about the longevity of players who have suffered that injury. And that makes me think of Brandon Ayuk, too, because he had a similar injury. The meniscus is the bad one.
I mean, I know that this guy's got good size and speed, but, once again, it's like I'm a little leery of this. He went to high school in Deerfield Academy, which is that's like Phillips Exeter or Andover or one of these places. It's like a boarding school. It's a Massachusetts, academic based boarding school. That's not, that's not the Nike Academy.
Not Galileo.
Yeah. And it's not, it's not De La Salle. It's not like modern day. It's not like some football power. It's some academic power. And then
It's
he
not
went to
St.
Stanford.
Ignatius and Bishop O'Dowd. Come on.
It's not Bishop O'Dowd. It's not St. Ignatius. It's like going to University High School. You know what I mean? Or Stewart Hall High School.
Right.
Or
Head Royce.
Not to put these Head Royce.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just a smaller private deal. And then he goes to Stanford and he played well. I mean, but if you watch his highlights, he never gets any separation. Every catch I've seen him make, the defender's right there, and he's big and relatively fast for the stopwatch. So it makes me feel like he doesn't really play to his stopwatch time speed. And then the massive knee injury where he blew out the ACL, the MCL, the PCL, and the meniscus. That's a concern.
I'm sure he has some tape against Travis Hunter, though, that probably is pretty good, which is why people are looking at it. I'm guessing that happened. PrizePicks is sponsoring the Cohn Zone this year. PrizePicks is the leader in daily fantasy and the best place to win cash while watching sports. And the best part about the app is it's really easy to use. To create a lineup, all you have to do is pick more or less on a few players' stats. I'm a Niners guy. So, when I'm doing PrizePicks, I'm looking, the last couple of years, I'm looking at Deebo Samuel because I know Deebo Samuel better than Deebo Samuel knows Deebo Samuel. So if it's like drops, I'm taking more. Or if it's like punches thrown towards his long snapper on the sideline during the fourth quarter of a game, the 49ers will go on to win. I'm smashing more because I know the 49ers and I'm a PrizePicks guy. Now, maybe they didn't have those exact plays, but they have so many plays that'll make your head spin. And you can play PrizePicks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Best part about it is the new user offer. PrizePicks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. So win or lose, you'll get $50 just for playing. That sounds like a win to me. Use promo code COHN, COHN, to claim your $50 today. Tell them Grant sent you. Otherwise,
Lynch drafted Solomon Thomas. I mean, he may be a little bit partial to some Stanford guys, and maybe they like this guy, and I'm sure they like his persona. I'm sure he's a great guy. He
talked to us afterward. Very polished, very smart.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, and as that, the advantage is that, smart offensive players, when you use a lot of different formations and you can digest, you do need to have some mental horsepower to play in this offense because they're so multiple. So
I asked him about the scheme.
Yeah.
First, I was like, how do you feel you fit this offense? He was like, well, I love blocking. I was like, oh my goodness, you're going to talk your way onto this team.
Right. Can you catch? Can you separate?
He went straight to blocking. He's like, I love blocking. Oh, okay. Well,
so you have
now you're talking their language.
Yeah, exactly. You had Chandler Rogers, the quarterback from Cal, who I thought looked pretty good. He's 6 feet tall, but I thought he looked pretty good. He's pretty athletic and had a good little zip on the ball. And then the other significant quarterback is Benjamin Wooldridge, who's a Pleasanton kid who played at Louisiana, who's a good-looking quarterback prospect. He's a day 3 quarterback prospect. He's 6'3", 216 pounds. I thought he looked the best of the quarterbacks. The other quarterback was Spencer Petras. If you remember Spencer Petras, I didn't realize he's Marin County. He's from Kentfield, but he played at Iowa, and then he was they were terrible. The offense was so bad at Iowa, and then he finished up, it looks like, at Utah State, and he's a big kid. He's a ginger, 6'5", 230-pound receiver quarterback. So he was there. I didn't think he.
There's a kicker there too. I wonder if he's going to get a look in training camp.
Kyler Halverson, the kicker from San Jose State, who's from Hawaii. Right. He was there. The other guys that kind of stood out to me, a couple of Cal guys. I mean, Cal, Cal's had a pretty good defense. They've got a guy named Lou Magia Hearns III, who's a corner, 5'10" corner, who's from Concord and went to Cal, who I thought looked really athletic today on the field. I mean, I don't know anything about him, didn't watch him, didn't study him. The Cal safety, though, Grant, I think is a good fit for the Niners. Craig Woodson. He's a Grand Prairie, Texas kid, but he went to Cal, so he got to go to this thing today. And he was really good at Cal. I mean, he safety who can cover, kind of a hitter. He was impressive to me today.
Seems like Cal's got a good defensive program over there. Like they actually are producing NFL players on defense. Exactly.
And then I'll say this, the two guys I would say that kind of stood out to me as like, hey, whoa, maybe those guys are impressive. Jermaine Terry II, who I think went to Kennedy High School in Richmond. He's a Richmond kid. I'm not sure if he went to Richmond.
You pointed him out to me, the tight end.
Yeah, number 49 today. 6'4", 245-pound tight end from Oregon State. He was athletic and he has good hands. And I watched him at Oregon State. He's a good player. And then unbelievably, and now, sometimes, you have to admit when you're biased, and I'm biased here. A guy who I went to Sac State with, my good buddy, Dom Mazzotti, his son has been a tight end. He played at San Jose State, and I think he finished up at UMass. And his son was out there today, Dominic Mazzotti, same name. He was wearing number 48. He was absolutely, in all the sprints, he was like leading the sprints. He's really, really athletic. He played quarterback once upon a time and converted. He was 180 pounds in high school. He went to Amador Valley in Pleasanton and then went to San Jose State. He's 250. He's now 6'4", 255. And he's a really good receiving tight end with good hands. And San Jose State's actually produced Josh Oliver and Derek Deese's son, and they've had some good tight ends there. And I thought this kid looked good today. I mean, I thought he looked good catching the ball. And then I was like, did he really look good? Or am I just saying that because he's my son, my buddy's son? It's like, I don't know. I may be a little biased, but definitely go put on the San Jose State or Massachusetts, UMass film of Dominic Mazzotti, because 6'4", 250 with good hands is pretty much, that's pretty much, that's a decent tight end size. It's not the worst. So anyway, that's what stood out today. Nick Nash was there. He kind of stood out a little bit. Esapole was there. He's a Washington State tackle who's 6'7", 320 pounds. Matt Barrows was talking to him late. I think maybe Maddie's doing a piece on him. So, but I mean, it definitely wasn't like, hey, wow, there's stars everywhere. These are almost exclusively, Grant, for the most part, day 3 guys, not great players.
Yeah, but I think it's a nice thing that these NFL teams do, the local pro day for anyone who went to high school around here or college around here. I mean, for probably 90% of the players in the field today, that was the last organized football activity they'll have in their lives. Or maybe that's an exaggeration, but for some of those guys, that was the end of the road. I think it's kind of nice that Kyle came and Robert Saleh came, and like for some guy who's not going to even get considered for the draft, for one day he got coached by Bobby Turner or some real 49ers legends. That's pretty cool. And then they got hats at the end.
They did. They gave him some gear on the way out. They started busting out the gear. But I'll say this about Teddy Buchanan. Teddy Buchanan, I think, is a really pretty good linebacker. I mean, like, I think he could be, he's not a day 2 guy, but he's a day 3, maybe 4th round guy, early day 3 guy. And there's a lot to like there. It's like, man, I watched him at Cal. He started at UC Davis and then finished up at Cal. But I mean, this guy looked great at Cal. It wasn't like he looked like, oh man, it's an FCS athlete. This guy's a big time athlete. He's smart. He can cover. He's got good hitting ability. I mean, to me, he was very productive in college. So that's an interesting player to see if they nab him, because they're gonna. I mean, I would imagine the 49ers are going to draft at least 2 linebackers in this draft, and he could be one of them for sure.